and welcome everybody to an indie spotlight of a very, very exciting episode. We have with us a returning guest who we've spoken to before, and we're really excited to talk to him about the newest issue of his comic. And so, just to introduce myself, I'm of course one of your Wicked co-founders, Michael Watson, and I'm joined by fellow co-host and co-founder Matt.
How we doing, everybody?
And we appreciate you guys joining us. If you're watching on the replay or you're watching live, we definitely appreciate any kind of support you give us there. And without further ado, why don't we welcome our guest, Mr. H.G. Squeezy. Welcome. How are you doing?
Welcome. I'm glad to be back, man. How's it doing?
Yes, very, very. We're doing well, man. I appreciate it. How about yourself? How are you? Have you been doing?
I'm doing well. Just keeping myself busy for the most part.
Nice.
Man.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we're excited. We're gonna talk all about what you've been up to, what you've been keeping busy with, all your comics and other ideas. We're gonna dive all into that. But before we get into that, into the meat of it, and the potatoes of everything, why don't you give us a little brief introduction on who you are and why you got started in comics?
Okay. My name is Stephen Hicks, also known as H.G. Squeezy. How I got started in the comics was initially just an idea and basically a to-do list. And went from there, started creating my own characters, and then that led actually to the comic book piece from the character. And that's pretty much it.
That's awesome, man. And you started off with your first comic, Micro Wars, which you now have 2 issues out. Can you tell us maybe just a little bit of brief synopsis on what that story is about?
Well, the synopsis of the story is really about a young teenage girl who is inspired to be a hero, and she doesn't. The thing is, she doesn't know how, or how to be a hero whatsoever. So she's taking matters into her own hands through trial and error, and she's putting on the costume, trying to figure things out, but also figure out her powers and with dealing with everyday life as well. So it's a whole little pattern that goes with that.
Right, and because as we kind of discussed last time, she's brand new to being a hero.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't something that, she has no background, no experience, and so for her, she's kind of in and out of her depths a little bit.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. So, does issue 2 to kind of pick up directly where that first issue ends off? Then
yes, it's a continuation of the first issue.
Very nice.
It's like really setting the tone for everything.
Nice, because I believe you have a big story planned. Is that right?
Yeah, that's my plan for the next 10 issues is to reveal that story.
Well, that's really awesome, man. And the main character, her name is Rashida.
Yes.
And of course, she's a young girl. Kind of, is she living on her own, or who does she live with at this time?
She lives with her guardian, who is also her sidekick, Naomi. And they tag team on this, but she's more so taking the lead as far as hero work is concerned, because this is something that she wants to do. But Naomi is like in it for the ride and try to guide her and train her. But
and Naomi, issue 2 kind of really brings Naomi's character more to the forefront than I believe in the first issue.
Yeah, because she knows more she knows more about Rashida and her past than anyone, and she's just now telling her certain things, and she has to tell her important stuff without like giving everything away.
Right, and because like you said, she kind of knows more and possibly about the secrets behind the powers that Rashida is experiencing, but for some reason there's a little bit of a mystery, and there's an element of kind of trying to either protect her or maybe keep something from her. It's kind of unclear, I think, at this time.
Right.
So in a sense, she acts as more of you could say kind of like a mentor, rather than a sidekick in a sense.
Yeah,
in a sense, she's both, though, right?
She's both. She's just taking a back seat on it because Rashida is the one who wants to be the hero, and and Naomi's kind of like using Rashida as a redemption arc for herself because she does some things in the past, and it's like, all right, I raised this person, and she wants to do this. Let me stick by her, but let her do her own thing.
That's pretty smart. Yeah, I feel like that's not something we usually see too. Like, usually you kind of either see the mentor storyline where they're kind of removed a little bit from the action, or you see the sidekick where they're just really playing that role. But to see characters both acting as a mentor, but also kind of playing the sidekick character role to that character, kind of really help her development, I feel like is something we haven't necessarily seen.
Right. Now, you don't have to spoil anything, but as far as for chapter 2, when you mentioned the redemption arc, do we get to see a little bit of this for Naomi in this chapter?
No, but she does mention it.
Okay.
She does mention a little bit of it, but no. I've been thinking about that for a minute now. Like, how do I want to introduce her story? I'm thinking about giving her a single issue, maybe an issue, either a single issue or break it into 2 issues, just to flush that out, because she has her past, and then she also knows about Rashida's past. So I'm still planning that out.
I could see that. That would be a really cool idea. Just a little standalone arc in a sense of the past.
Right. But I have to keep it within the 10 issue mark. I guess I may extend it. I don't know. But right now my goal is to do 12 issues. And I want to get enough information out to where they understand the story, understand these characters, and then let it flow.
And then maybe go back for another book or another 12 issues or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Nice. But will that first 12 issues have kind of its own satisfying conclusion at the end?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
Nice, man.
At least get the ball rolling at the overall story. At least.
No, hey, at least it's not going to be a cliffhanger to where you're going to want people to continue getting it, because then it's like, but I want this to be resolved.
Right. So it's like I kind of gotta pick and choose my battles here. It's like, all right,
really,
if I want to tell this story, I have to keep it to a minimum just to get enough out. Like I said, I was thinking about doing the same thing with Rashida. What I'm gonna do for Naomi, I have to do with Rashida. Even though she has the whole series about her, I still need to give like a single issue or 2 issues to explain certain stuff, if that makes sense.
Now, would this be about Naomi's past or something where Rashida's not necessarily in the picture?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
It's like a before she gets Naomi. I mean Rashida, if that makes sense.
And Rashida, as you said, she's staying with her guardian. And again, without spoiling too much, but so are her, parents not in the picture? What's going on with her family situation?
No, she's not. As far as she's concerned, her parents are, dead. So she didn't know him. The only person that did know him was Naomi.
Does she feel like they abandoned her, or does she even really have any idea what happened?
She doesn't have any idea that happens until Naomi told her everything. Wow. Yeah, so it's like basically Naomi raised her as her own.
And that's probably why she kept so many things from her, because she didn't feel like she was ready to know that at a young age.
That's exactly it.
Okay,
for the most part, she pretty much let her live a normal life until
it was impossible anymore.
Current.
Right, because certain things start happening in the first issue that we see that it's very obvious that her normal life isn't what it used to be anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting, man, and it's definitely a different dynamic. Now, you just put out the second issue here. Do you have plans for a third issue coming up here? Then have you already started planning that issue out?
I'm planning it out, but I can't tell anybody when I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I was like, I'm not really sure myself, but it is in the works though.
In the works, good.
Yeah. Like, so the good thing is half the story is already written,
so to speak.
You said what now?
No soon expectations for production.
No soon expectations. But I will say half the story is already written. It's just I have to go back, change some things, and I don't know when I'm gonna do production. At least that's out the way.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense, and especially with you just coming out with the second issue, you got to focus on getting that one out there right now too, as well. Now, I remember we talked a while back about the second issue, but the second issue is also one where we kind of are introduced to her improvisational skills. Isn't that right?
Repeat that one more time.
What I mean by improvisational skills is she's kind of really good at being able to pick up items and use them as weapons.
That's kind of gonna be her thing throughout the series. Like she's very like on the go kind of person.
She's almost like the MacGyver of fighting.
And I'm gonna try to make that like it's not like a comedy relief, but kind of like her thing throughout the series. Like she may not have her mainstay weapon, she'll find a way to use something else,
which I think is
just
so
on the
cool,
fly.
right?
Yeah,
Because it can be played for comedy, like but it also can be played for just like really interesting moments where like the character, like you said, even if doesn't have her weapons, she can make weapons out of the things around her, and that's like
right.
really interesting skill.
She's gonna find a way. Like she's very useful,
Exactly.
very resourceful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's something I want to use for her. Like I want her, instead of just relying on her powers all the time, use her brain a little bit in creativity
Smart,
and see
man.
what she can do.
Right.
Now, real quick, I was just thinking about how some of these scenes could play out. Do you have any plans to kind of work in a little bit of a comedy aspect to kind of help with the heavy hitting, you could say, drama or action here and there, like splicing a little bit of comedy with it? Or do you? Okay.
Interesting.
I definitely plan on doing that with her herself or with the people around her. I'm trying to work on building the world because the last time I talked to you guys mentioned that to me about a world. So I'm like, okay, let me try to build that up in a sense, like with introducing new characters, different personalities. How does she interact with those people? So I got some work ahead of me.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting because, like you said, I think the first two issues are rather self-contained. But I feel like like start opening up the world even more in the next couple issues. I feel like we'll start seeing even more of what you have in store.
Right. Because the second issue is like a preview of the past, like a little flashback, and then it continue off in the present, just to give you a little glimpse of why she's inspired to do what she does.
Here we see her using her skills of improvisation to use a plunger that she's found as a weapon to beat this robber over the head, which is so awesome.
And it's funny because it started off as a little joke amongst my friends. It was
really,
and I just kind of rolled with it. Like I had to put myself in a child's mindset. Like, all right, what if someone tried to come into the house and take something? Like, I'm gonna grab the first thing that comes to mind.
And probably the thing that's nearest to you as well. And if it's close by, man, you're gonna use that.
Right.
That's so funny. Yeah, I love that moment. I think I feel like that's an iconic moment from the issue that stands out. But yeah, I mean, kind of going back to her superpowers side of thing, maybe for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about her superpowers a little bit?
So as of right now, her current powers is teleportation. She's able to teleport where she can see, and then also grow to expand that, go beyond what she can see, basically using her memory and reflexes. At some point, she can teleport objects. She can also, she's very expert at hand-to-hand combat as of now, because Naomi's teaching her pretty much everything that she knows. And there is room to gain more abilities, but I'm still working those in. She hasn't have control of her teleportation just yet. So once she gets the master of that and really get that down, I'll introduce maybe one or two more abilities.
Yeah, I like that idea of kind of being able to, say, okay, here's the power set, but then maybe to expand or to add stuff on as
make her more balanced, more well-rounded.
I could see that. And then especially even leading it to where she has to not necessarily struggle, but learn to control these certain aspects instead of just, they know how to do it.
Because as of right now, she's still learning to teleport because she's kind of, glitchy. She can't teleport when she wants to, stuff like that. It comes with drawbacks.
I'm pretty sure nobody's going to give her a hard time. Because here in real life, we still don't know how to teleport. So,
man,
I would give her all the time she needs for it.
Man, it's gonna take some time. Like, I still gotta figure out training sequences on how to train that particular power. Like, if I'm gonna do teleportation, it has to be based off, like I said, what she can see, memory, and I have to train that. So I have to look for some ideas, try to be creative with it.
Thought about looking at some inspirations from certain other characters who have that?
I have actually. I've been looking into different medias. Like Western cartoons. I've been looking into that. Marvel's X-Men, Nightcrawler. I've been
Right.
digging deep into anime, and
Nice.
anime really has opened the door for teleportation in so many ways. It's like I've seen some creative stuff.
That's true, dude. That's very true. There really is, yeah.
So I'm like kind of like playing with these ideas. Like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, how it works. And right now, I do have some awesome ideas to try to play it off a little bit. But it's gonna I have to come up with some drawbacks. If she does this, how will it affect her? If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want it to just be something that's so overpowered that doesn't have any downsides or any kind of drawbacks. Like you
Right.
said.
And as of right now, her downside is stamina at the moment. She uses it use enough of it, she'll be drained.
And she won't be able to use it anymore.
Yeah. For a short period of time. So it's like, trying to go all out, you got to think before you use something like that.
Now, is this on this page? Are we seeing her using that power?
Yeah, coming in on this page. She was trying to chase down some guys, and they pretty much got away. She got there too late.
Damn. And then I see she pulls out. Is she pulling out her chip, or is she, what is that?
So
what are we seeing there?
She found the chip.
Oh, there's someone else's chip.
Yeah, she has no clue what that is. Like, she just found out she has a chip.
So recently.
So inside the story, she finds out, about it, and now she actually get exposed to finding the chip. So first clue to a mystery,
a larger mystery at play.
Right.
Very nice, man. Well, that's cool. The powers, like you said, they kind of have their teleportation, but to me, it seems like almost like I don't know, like visually, it definitely has a unique feel to it.
Like, I have to explain the power set, how it works. As of right now, Rashida is the only one who has, as we know, is the only one who has a microchip inside her. So, and she recently just found out about that. So, hinting at the now where the rules and stuff takes place is that the main villain of the story, he's making, because he doesn't have the original, he's looking for not looking, but he's looking for her or the original chip. He doesn't know she has it. So in replace of that, he's making counterfeit chips because he knows about the original, but he doesn't have like the complete specs or anything to make the complete thing. So he's just making his own, him being a scientist and whatever. And those have like drawbacks, side effects, and all that.
And that's what's kind of blowing up, and people are starting to getting their hands on these things.
Right. And this is where the Satori program comes into play. It's nothing but the Satori program is a program that allows people to get enhanced abilities per se. So it's made to evolve the human race by giving them abilities to complete tasks throughout their daily lives. Just that simple. Within there's a sub program that allows people to gain abilities or create their own. Whatever you create, it's permanent. So you pretty much have to choose wisely. Now, the main villain knows about that and try to take matters into his own hands and made his own version of that. But those have side effects, using that as a base.
Interesting. So it's more these counterfeits that are the problem as opposed to the original.
Right. Like I said, Rashida has the original, and she's still discovering what it's capable of. Meanwhile, there's these counterfeit chips out here that I haven't given a name yet.
Counter chips, you could call them counter chips. I like that one.
I'm just kidding. Hey, whatever works. Look, whatever works.
No, that's interesting though. I love that idea because whenever you do have a product like that that's banned, you're gonna get counterfeits. I mean, that's just how the black market works.
Right. So and really she just knows about.
I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's out there selling them, like he's out there experimenting on people, taking people off the streets, testing on them, see what works. And it's like, hey, you want powers, things of that nature, I can give it to you. And it's like, it comes at a price.
Powers, right? I mean, come on.
Right. It comes at a price. And at the moment, right now, as far as like how people would get them, only select few has them, and the ones that do have them pretty much get them from the main villain per se.
And so is it even known yet whether there are any more genuine chips other than the one that Rashida has?
At the moment, no. I haven't created any
Interesting.
more yet. I plan
Ooh.
to, but she wouldn't know anything about it.
Right. That's interesting. Interesting. It kind of makes you. It begs some questions. Like you start wondering about who's creating them and what their connection to Rashida could be, and interesting
Right.
stuff there.
Is she really the first one? Things of that nature. As far as she
True,
knows,
yeah.
she thinks she's the first and only one. So
Right, but that could be totally wrong.
right. So it's definitely
interesting. Yeah, I love that mystery. You really done a good job of layering the mystery element. I always feel like that's one of the biggest draws for any story. Like I can't remember, it was like a historical quote I was reading or something, but essentially said like the same thing, the basically of math and narrative that makes them both so fascinating is the unknown. And
right.
what you don't know or don't see coming.
Well, I can see that because humans always love the unknown. I mean, it's also part of I don't know who said it. It might have been either a psychologist or even a philosopher who said this, but there's two things in life that always perplex us. One is our fear of the unknown, and two is our love of the unknown. And there are more to add to it, but those are always the weirdest because just as much as people love the unknown, they fear it at the same time. So, like,
you can't look away.
I've always found that very interesting myself because when I started learning certain things, like to help with stories or just doing natural research, you start finding things and you're like, huh, and then it kind of leads into a different portion, and then a different portion. You start like getting a little weird out with what you're learning because you're kind of going down a rabbit hole, and you're like,
right.
Okay, I'm gonna back out of this for a bit.
right. Makes sense.
Right, either you just keep going deeper, man.
Yeah, because that's something that I'm working on. Like you said, the unknown. So right now, unknown to myself, I don't know how I'm going to create more micro users like Rashida, like the original micro users. And then you have, like I said, counterfeit micro users. So it's like she doesn't know there's more out there. Heck, I don't even know who's more out there. So I have to like create some, build this world up, and like make it feel like real. And then also exposure, like how do other people get exposed to the microchips? Is there another way besides going under the table or getting kidnapped? I don't know. Haven't figured that out yet.
Well, we'll find out when you do, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? Yeah, that's interesting. You sound like you're more, because I actually put out a poll about this, but it sounds like you're more of a pantser, which is a plotter. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but a plotter versus a pantser in writing is when a plotter usually will write and outline the entire story from beginning to end, and the pantser will kind of fly by the seat of their pants, and they may have an idea of where it's going, but they'll like write a lot of it will just come to them, and they kind of write without an outline.
Yeah, I'm a mixture between the two because I do have an outline, and it's like, but certain things I kind of change out, and it's like I just go on the fly with it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of both.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Honestly, it still allows you to be surprised by your characters when they do stuff you didn't see coming, which is kind of funny.
It keeps me fresh too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely different. Definitely talking with my team and talking about like, hey, should we do this? Should we do that? It's like we have a bunch of ideas. How do we make them flow? It's a lot of stuff. Like I'm open to criticism, so I'm looking forward to hearing more from the people, if anything.
Nice, man. Very nice. Yeah, and hopefully get back to conventions and stuff one of these days here too, so we can start getting out there at conventions and whatnot.
Yeah,
I bet people would love to see that.
That'd be awesome. I had a feeling someone told me they'll dress up as Rashida. I was like, where?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'll be nice to see.
They just gotta make sure they bring the dual plungers to finish.
Yeah, that'll be hilarious. That'll be hilarious. I was like, wow.
Oh man. Now I wanted to ask you about this picture in particular. And again, I don't want you to necessarily spoil anything, but what are these? Can you tell us maybe a little about these orbs and how they pertain to her powers?
So that is a new ability that I'm teasing. So it's kind of like an expansion. She has no clue that she's doing it. Naomi has an idea, but she doesn't know exactly how she's doing it
Oh,
per se.
damn.
So she's like,
So even
wait,
Naomi is kind of like, what?
how? Like how? Like so, is this ability is like an expansion to
Oh,
her
wow.
teleportation ability.
Okay.
So it allows her to expand her range and like capabilities per se overall.
Interesting.
But it comes at a price.
Kind of like it's a really powerful, but it maybe has some negative
Yeah,
aspects to it.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. Which makes sense, right? If it was just overpowered, whatever
hmm
OP, it wouldn't really be
Yeah.
as quite as interesting.
So my plan is to like tease this ability as much as I can until I like find a proper way to reveal it and how she uses it.
So is this from a page from issue 2, or is this a future issue?
2.
And so we see it, but we don't necessarily get to know much about it in this issue.
Right. I'm gonna try to tease that as much as I can, just how they do in the cartoons.
Fair enough.
Like, what is this? Like, how is she doing that? And the crazy part, she's still unaware. She's unaware of it, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that is pretty cool, and it is again. It kind of adds to that mystery, right? Because Naomi thinks she knows what's going on, and then now there's a new element.
Yeah, because my idea is to put her in a situation where she creates it under like stress conditions. Like again, like how you get your powers is based on, what you create. And let's say she's in a position where she can't reach anybody, even though she can teleport, it's not fast enough. So, these are created to extend that. And how they work is either the orbs would surround her, kind of like orbs in anime. The Sage Six Paths orbs, kind of like that. In Naruto.
Yeah, I think I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. So those orbs there, they surround the body. So it's kind of like that. It's just like plasma orbs surrounding her, like her own energy, and she's able
Okay.
to
I
send
can see
those
that.
off.
It's
Yeah,
the same thing that Magneto would do for a bit, where he would have
e-
like floating metal around him in a sense, and he would
exactly
be
like
able to
that.
manipulate it the way he wanted.
Right. So since she might not have the energy to teleport herself, she can use these orbs to expand her range, and they can do the work for her, in a sense.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, in a sense,
Yeah.
what they touch is what is an extension, like you said, of her reach.
Right. So being that an extension of her teleportation, it also she's able to attack and defend with those as well. So it's kind of like that will be her balancing act in a sense. That'll make her well balanced. She can teleport, but she has weaknesses, so she uses those to, help out. It'll work itself out.
Dude, that's awesome. Now we also see on this page, Guy, I believe, who's gonna
Yeah.
He's gonna had some redesigns. He's had a lot of different looks throughout his period of time as being a character.
Yeah, I ended up actually switching artists. I still have my main artist. It's just
Oh, really?
doing other stuff. Yeah. So he's been swamped with projects, so I had to find a new
Okay.
artist. His name is Emilio Mar, so he's going to be continue on the rest of the story with me.
Very nice.
So this is his style. Guy still looks the same, but it's in his style per se.
That's
I'm gonna
awesome,
kind of keep it going with that. Yeah, Guy still looks cool as ever.
Oh yeah. No, that's cool, man. And so you've changed artists. So how has it been working with the new artist then?
Oh, great, man. It's still the same. My process is still the same. We work well together. We get stuff done pretty fast. Speaking of new artists, new announcement. Because I have the newer artist, I found a way to speed up my process a bit
Nice.
faster
Oh,
than
that's
normal.
fun.
So because I have the new artist, I told him after the second issue, let's stop the color production because that eats up so much time. So now we're gonna take notes from the manga guys and do the manga style a little bit. It's still gonna be in the comic book format. It's just gonna be in black and white. And
You're kind of doing like halftones and gradients and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It blends really well to where like you can still differentiate like those brightnesses and contrasts and all that.
Exactly.
So I think it would be a good fit. And
And
To be honest, I think I've even seen a bunch of manga do that to where like in one volume it'll be like 1 or 2 chapters in color and then the rest in black and white. And that's just to help your eyes and your brain adjust to this is the color scheme that they see.
Right. And so now we're gonna just do the whole black, white, grayscale thing going forward because it's the process is sped up so much now that I know that color takes forever. It does. And then you have to go to
Yes.
printer, it costs more. Printing is super expensive. And now that I lowered the cost on that, that'll help bring out more books.
That's great, man. I'm glad to hear you guys kind of figured out the process you guys want to do and can get it streamlined and keep the book going. Really.
Right. So the first 2 books will stay in color, but the rest of the next 10 will be in black and white.
Okay, interesting. That's very good, man.
And we're gonna keep that going for now on. Now that I figured that out.
Do you think you'd ever go back down the line, maybe after you finish up issue 12, and then go add in a black and white of 1 and 2 or something?
Yeah.
Nice. I can see that, man. That's cool. Well, that'll definitely give it even more of that manga feel to it, which will be interesting.
Right. And that's what I love too. I love like I said, my goal is to make this an animated series. So I love anime. I love cartoons. So that's the goal for Micro Wars, man.
Well, very nice, man. Very nice. And so, are you going to be trying to return to the crowdfunding scene anytime soon, or do you have any plans there?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I haven't ever since the whole Indiegogo. I haven't had the chance to really put another one out. I would love to. I was like, I figure I'll come back maybe another issue or 2 out, maybe 2 more issues, and then try to come back to it.
Okay, nice, man.
We'll see. Let me see after the 3rd one. Let me put the 3rd one out and see what happens.
Now, kind of putting Microverse just to the side just for a moment here. I know you've also had some ideas about doing other projects and kind of had some other things swirling around in your head for a while. Have you had the chance to work on any of your other projects?
I actually finished those.
Oh, wow.
It was actually guys wanted to make their own comic book, so I actually helped them do that. Smiley made his. Smiley made Freaks Come Out at Night. That was awesome. Emilio, my new artist, he's working on his because they all inspired by me for some odd reason. And then a friend of mine made Breath of a Warrior. He's in production with his work. And I actually have this cool backpack by him. It's pretty dope.
We can show that off here. I think I have a picture of that. That's the one with your comic on it, right?
Yeah. No, wait, it was his. It was.
He had one too, huh? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So I got the idea. I got the idea from him, and I decided to make
smart, man.
Yeah. So I've been working on some projects here. So right now they're just on a back burner. But I do have one I'm kind of put out. I'm trying to decide, do I want to put it on a 3rd one or should I do it now? I don't know. But I'm planning on doing a character contest. Prize will be maybe $50 to $100. I don't know exactly. And then they'll have whoever wins the character design contest will actually have their character in the Micro War series.
That'd be cool.
So I figured that I figured that'd be cool.
You should probably let me know about that.
Yeah. I'll make a flyer and everything and put it out. Like, hey,
there we go.
Because I like crossovers, so it's like, hey, for like a one-time issue type thing, I can introduce a new character, and show them off or something like that. I don't know yet. I mean, if anybody's interested in doing crossovers, I love it. I love crossovers, man. That's kind of like my thing.
Nice.
So I look forward to doing crossovers with, like Citrus Man caught my attention. I would love to do a crossover with him and some other characters that I've seen in the indie world.
Dude, I want to. What about a Freaks Go Out at Night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's definitely going to be a crossover. Yeah. For real.
Nice, man. Yeah, and even Neostar in the chat says character contest, eh? That sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. I think that'd be a cool idea to, reach out to the people, have them be involved in the project. Because it's not just my project. It's like a people project. Like, hey, you guys can be a part of this too. I'm not the only one doing it. And speaking of characters, I did create a character based off of a fan of Micro Wars. So I have this group that I play games with. We were playing Uno, and and they wanted to make a duck character. So I ended up actually making the duck character. He's gonna be a part of the story. Something small, nothing serious, just like maybe Rashida's pet or something like that. And they
Oh, that's
just
funny.
yeah,
Oh, that'd be pretty good, huh?
yeah. So that's gonna be pretty cool, actually.
Nice, very nice. Well, why don't you can you maybe tell us a little bit about like where you kind of came up with the idea for Rashida as a character and where that kind of her concept came from a little bit?
So her concept, I actually made her myself. And then I got her redesigned. So when I made her myself, I spent an entire year working on Rashida because I
Oh
was
wow.
like, I wanted a hero, but I've seen it's like when you do the stats, it's like 90% of heroes are white Caucasian males, 10% of them are black males. Then like a fraction of that is like female heroes. So I'm like, dang, there's not a lot of female heroes here.
Oh,
And if
interesting.
they
Yeah.
do show them, they show them they're like either over sexualized or playing second fiddle. So I'm like, all right, it's whatever. So I'm like, let me just try something different. Let me try my hands at a female character. It's like, how would I want her to be? So I spent like the entire year just going through notes. How do I want her to look? I made her too old. I made her too young. Made her too sexy. And I'm like, I need help. So when I created her, I made her look like a 24 or 25-year-old. So I'm like, okay, this is perfect. But it's like, how do I reach out to the people? I'm like, So that's when our kid came into play. He took my original design and made her younger. Now she looks 16. So I was like, okay, cool, this will work. I can work with this and then grow her into my original design. That way it'll work.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. No, that's pretty smart. Yeah, it's kind of cool that your original design was tweaked a little bit, and that's kind of how we got to this final version.
Right. And I love this version because I got the time to grow with her, and I can mold and shape her to how I want her to be because I already know the final the end result is gonna be. So I don't. This is pretty cool. So I'm trying different things, but she's also inspired by the just my female friends and just women in general, like that I've seen over the years. So I took bits and pieces of like their personalities and try to tie them into this character. And here we go. We have Rashida.
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, it really does show that you spent a good amount of time just working on the character itself, and it really shows off and looks like it paid off in the long run.
It did. Fun fact, she does. I did have another inspiration behind her because I love movies, and one of my favorite movies is Beverly Hills Cop. So explaining hints in her name, Rashida Foley, the main character in Beverly Hills Cop is Axel Foley, and I try to play on that. And she has, yeah. So she try to have some of his tendencies, smart mouth, does some of the things that he does, but most of it's just based off friends for the most part. I just took bits and pieces of the personality and made her. Because creating a character it wasn't hard. It was just kind of like a challenge. Like, how would you create a female character? I was like, I had no clue.
And didn't you? I think we talked last time a little about this, but I believe you also kind of reached out to different women and kind of just said like, well, what would you want to see in a hero? And
I actually did. I actually created a survey. So every time like my books are printed, so I made surveys. I called video chat with different women. I like, what would we like to see as a female hero? Some was like, oh, she has to be cute, she has to be badass, and things like that. And some gave me some very detailed information. Like, I want her to be, strong. I want her to use her brain, be creative, have a little sass. I'm like, okay, this is useful. I can use this. So it's like, it's not just like one sided. So I got a mixture things from characters.
Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like in the long run, like Matt kind of was saying, like that's going to pay off because people will be able to see it, that she's has much more depth than just the surface level.
Yeah, because I want to grow. I want to grow with this character, and a lot of other people want to grow with this character too. Because it's like, how many female lead characters do you know?
True, man.
I don't know that many.
Yeah, especially
not only that, you're combining the depthness with a lot of the entertainment value that some people want to see with it.
Mm.
So
Right.
those two blending together with all this research, it's really like really blossoming very well right now.
And what's crazy, a lot of the guys want to see this happen. It's like, man, we want some more characters. Like I want to see some more overpowered characters, not in stories and things like that. It necessarily has to be overpowered, but they want to see something different and unique as far as how does she use her brain? Like how does she, fight? It's not about necessarily strength. They want to see strategies. They want to see all types of things. I was like, I'm getting all this feedback from guys. Where you guys been this whole time? So, so same thing with the women too. Like a lot of the women have a lot to say, and it's like, all right, let me hear what you got.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is kind of interesting. I mean, think about, but it was like, I think Captain Marvel came out in 2019, and then you have Wonder Woman, maybe like the year or two before that or something. But really, how long did it take for us to get a woman-led superhero movie? It was forever.
A long time.
Still rare.
Long time. Last time I checked, even with cartoons, it's been a few. Like Disney, I had to give credit where credit is due. Disney has done some solid female lead characters. Shout out to Penny Proud of the Proud Family and Kim Possible.
Yeah.
Those were great.
Hell, even I'm not one to known that really likes Disney, but when I first watched like Princess and the Frog, I was like, damn, that chick's fucking awesome. She's the only one that's making sense. And my fiance, she's like, that's why I love this character more than all the others.
Yeah, she makes sense. And she's logical with it. She has a dream, a goal, and she's gonna make it happen. And I kind of want to see more characters like that. I want to see go through trial and errors. Like I want to see progress. You don't have to be perfect, but just show me progress.
Yeah.
It's like you see it all the time in anime and cartoons. It's like all these different women are great, but they're kind of like pushed to the side a little bit. And some
I will say that's kind of the one thing that I did like about Fairy Tail is like Urza, like when they first showed her off and the way that they progressed with her, they did it very well to where they showed Natsu was most likely the one that had the best potential out of all of them. But Urza was the one that everyone feared.
Right. I love Urza, and she's actually inspiration for another character that I'm working on. Yeah, Urza's bad. She is bad. And she has a nice little backstory too, man.
Exactly. And it kind of really pays off like why she is the way she is. And it just goes to show the more you work on them, and even if you intend for them to be a side character, they could still stand out on their own.
Right. And this is something that I want to apply with even the main character and all the other characters that I built up. It's like how take what I've seen and try to apply it here, but I have to do it in my own way. But I need help, writing everything out and everything like that. So the suggestions help. I just want to make this character feel, even though she's not real, I want to make her feel real, if that makes sense.
Make her really fleshed out and really have depth to her, kind of like what Matt was saying a little bit.
Right. Like I can see myself. If I was throwing some hands with somebody that I don't have any weapons, I'll grab a plunger and a scrubber too.
Anything can work.
Anything.
Neostar puts out a good point, I think, in that cartoons and animation seem to have a better track record of female leads than most movies.
This is true, and it's like the female leads are kind of like done. They're done dirty in a sense. I'm like, I think it's because they're trying to make profit, and it's like they so focused on the money they don't want to. Now I've seen some female characters who have depth, and it was really great. Like Colombiana is a really good one, and she has character development, and it shows throughout the thing, like why she does what she does. She's so calculated and all these different things. And
even I will honestly say, like a lot of the action female leads from the 90s, those were really good compared to, or even like older ones in the horror movies. They were a lot more built out and designed. You could say more than what you see nowadays with it.
Right.
And I think that goes to show that it is more of the focus on the profit and the views rather than the actual story itself. Because like when I think of a badass like female lead, I honestly think of Ellen Ripley from Aliens.
I was just about to bring her up.
Terminator.
Yeah, that Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween and True Lies. She was really good in True Lies too. So it's like
she kind of took a lot of the scenes from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Like, so it's pretty.
I love that
good.
movie, honestly.
Like
those are guilty pleasure movies for me.
Yeah, I just want women to get credit where credit is due. Like they can be heroes too, or they can do. They can't do everything, but they can do something if that makes sense.
Yes, and like even the movie The Descent, where it's the like all female cast and they're all stuck inside of that cave where there's like beings inside of it. Like that was a really good one too, and a lot of the characters they really stuck out and they really had depth to them, and like because a little bit of their backstory beforehand, and as it goes through, you're like, holy shit.
But luckily, I do think like because of things like you're doing and other projects that we're seeing, I do feel like we're starting to see some of that change somewhat. It's the very beginnings, we're seeing just the beginnings of people saying like, hey, like maybe we should be telling these other stories.
Right, yeah, because I want more collaborations with more female characters. I think that'd be cool. If I can get a crossover with another one, that'd be dope. To me,
yeah. Who do you who would you like favorite, like ideal situation? Who would you want to cross over? If you had any character you could have crossover with your Rashida character.
Ooh, that's out indie or that's been out for a while.
Hey, anything, man. You
anything. Could be Marvel, DC, anime, manga. Don't matter.
Okay. Well, at the moment, I would love for her to cross over with Nightcrawler. That'd be nice to see. If I had to pick and choose, teaching her the ropes of teleportation, I think that'd be dope. And then I just started reading some indie comics. So it's like I started reading this guy named Ace Blade. That's pretty cool.
What's his name?
It's a comic called Ace Blade.
I don't know that one. Ace Blade, interesting.
Yeah, I gotta show you the link to that and send it to you. That's pretty solid.
Nice.
Elements is another one. Like honestly, I'm open to ideas when it comes to crossovers. I just love crossovers that much. But if I do a crossover, it has to have like a story to it. That's the kicker. Like you gotta have a story. Don't do a crossover just to have a crossover. Just have a nice little story to it, whether it's canon or not. If that makes sense.
Right. Give some a little more substance, right? Than not just saying, "Hey, I'll throw these guys together and have them fight."
Right. So it's like the way I want this character to be. She can pretty much throw in anywhere. It's just take her personality and everything she's gone through and put it in there too.
And of course, her superpowers and whatnot with the microchip.
Right. Anime, man. I feel like she can go anywhere. Anime, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Are you much of an anime fan?
Yes, I am. Honestly, I didn't get to answer the perfect question. So the perfect one I would like to go with, I would actually like her to be joined with Yoruichi from Bleach. I think that'd be cool.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
the girl who can change into cats, into a cat rather.
Yeah,
I could see it. Because she could teach her to properly improvise and properly be a little bit more stealthy about.
She's also pretty sassy.
Right. Exactly. So I think that'll be perfect in my personal opinion.
I mean, honestly, I could probably even see her being with Goku on how to train to fight and then control her teleportation abilities, since Goku and the rest of the crew can use, I think it's called Zanzoken, where they can like basically move at high speeds, but it looks like teleportation to the normal eyes.
Right.
And he can even do the whole instant transmission. So it's like, holy shit. That would probably really help her right there.
That'd definitely be interesting. Yeah, like she can go pretty much anywhere, man. Like once I flush her out, she can pretty much go anywhere.
Well, that's the thing that I kind of wanted to bring up too. Is you said you had this original idea, right? And now that we've had this younger, more concept, done by your artist, and you're going to grow into this original concept, makes me wonder: is that original concept kind of like where you see her when she gets to become the superhero, like the ultimate.
Yeah. She's a lot older. She's a lot
Mm.
older. She's like what,
lot more
25,
experience.
26, somewhere in that range. She's seasoned a little bit, and she has a little bit more of experience on what she's doing. So I kind of want to like go into that because right now she's just 16. So I'm trying to get her feet wet a little bit before I just dive into that.
That's funny. Neo in chat in the chat, he says a couple things here. Oh man, Rashida and working with Yoruichi and Goku. That sounds dope.
Yeah, that definitely sounds.
That sounds like
Yeah,
it'd
it
be good. And he
definitely
also
sounds.
says, hell, I wouldn't mind a crossover with Micro Wars. He has a comic, Riser Man, Henshin Hero Riser Man.
I think I've seen that on Instagram a few
I wouldn't
times.
doubt it. He's active in the community, and we love seeing his stuff.
So I definitely don't mind doing crossovers, man. Like, tell me the
Mhm.
story. Let's see how we can put her in.
Yeah,
You know, how can we solve a problem,
right?
or
That'd be awesome,
or something
dude.
like that.
That'd be cool, man. And I feel like the world, those worlds would be compatible. I feel like, that could be very interesting.
Yeah, because the main reason I want to do a crossover is that everybody has a tournament arc in stories, and I kind of want to do that with her. It's just I'm trying to work on the concept.
You would be interesting. Well,
What's
yeah.
that?
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I was gonna say it'd be interesting to do like if you did a tournament arc, do like kind of like, and maybe you already had this idea, but to go to reach out to different indie creators and be like, oh, do you want to have your characters in this, and be like, just have these different, almost like the indie fighting tournament.
Yeah, that's actually my plan. I just don't know how to like
smart,
introduce them into the story per se. Like,
hey,
what's the reason? What's the reason for coming to the tournament?
Well, I mean, usually you could just do the easy way, but usually the way that they do it in anime is they're like, he wants to get stronger.
That's easy.
Either that or it's like a prophesized thing, or like Mortal Kombat, or some of the other ones, like even Ronin Warriors kind of thing.
One Punch Man was funny because he fought. His whole thing is no one can defeat him, so he just entered it so he could see if anybody could stand up to him. And of course,
it's more so not that can be solved with just characters, but what I'm trying to figure out overall when I create this concept, what's the reason for the tournament itself? And I don't have a reason for it.
I got you. It's not like other than just like a martial arts tournament.
Other than allowing her to test her skills and learn something, that's the only thing I could think of. And I know the end result already. I don't want Rashida to win it. I don't want her to win.
Not the first time, at least. Hey, not even Naruto. It's the first time he takes the tuning exam. So, hey.
Well, even Goku lost his first tournament.
So yeah, really.
I don't want her to win it. I want her to.
You gotta have that character growth.
Yeah, like what's the purpose of the tournament? Why she's there and things like that. Test her abilities. I gotta come up with a solid reason.
No, that's fair, man. But I like that you have the idea, and you want to get there eventually. It's just a matter of how to get there at this point.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, that's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna pull up another page here from the comic here.
Okay.
We have a couple more pages to show off. So we got this one. We have where'd it go? This one we're gonna see Guy again doing his thing. Now, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you came up with the character for Guy, since I know we've talked a lot about Rashida.
Guy, I didn't actually come up with the character. Smiley
really?
Did. That's his character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I love him. I love the character. I was like, man, let's keep him around. Now he wants to change his overall design. I told him I like this one. So I was like, but his whole thing is that he's a man for hire. He's not a hitman, but what's the shit, a mercenary and a hitman? Are they the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, a mercenary is just somebody who you would hire to do something for you.
Okay, so that's who
usually includes a
violence
thing, but a hitman is just straight up like murder.
Right. Yeah. Hitman usually implies that they're actually there to kill someone specifically.
Yeah, but a mercenary, you can hire them to just protect something or just cause a little bit of a distraction,
chaos or whatever.
Okay, well, he's a mercenary for hire. So he works with Slim, Mr. Slim. He works with him and whoever else comes his contact. And right now, he ain't too happy right now in this picture.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that. Oh yeah. Looks like he's got to get away from the law real quick. He's like, I'm out of here, yo.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yes, I was doing like he's actually one of my favorite characters. That's the
Really?
crazy part. Yeah, I'm liking him more and more. So I'm trying to like learn the balance between giving characters shine a little bit. But I actually like Guy a lot.
That's really cool, man.
And the crazy part is I don't know much about him. I no clue. Like I'm kind of like I want to give him a story. I asked Smiley about it. He said I could, but as far as his background, I don't know anything.
So is this a situation where Smiley's still going to use the character in his stories?
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh damn. So are your Smileys in a shared universe, or how are you guys playing that?
I don't know. I just asked her. Hey, I don't really know.
I gotta think about that.
I didn't really think about it. I was just creating a story. I was like, hey, can I use him? Sure. And I was like, I just give him credit where credit is due, and he's fine with that.
Like at one point it's revealed, oh my god, they're in the same universe. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, that'd be dope, wouldn't it?
But he did say I can give him his final story, if that makes sense. He did say I could do that. So I'm gonna give him a nice little story that he'll be happy with, and then he can tell the story however he wants to. But I have to like the end result of Guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Well, yeah,
Guy
man,
with an eye.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, and what are his powers like? It was kind of his deal.
He doesn't have any, but he is using technology.
Okay.
Like he's like these electrified gloves that shock people. According to what Smiley was telling me, that's what he uses to like deal like heavy damage, and he's like super strong for some odd reason. He didn't like give me like a lot of detail on how he's so strong, but he's just strong, unnaturally strong.
And so is there kind of a balance between those who maybe have chips and counterfeit chips versus those who maybe just use augmented like technology to make themselves powerful?
And that's what I'm working on now. I'm trying to find like the rules to this world that I'm building, like what works. Like micro users can be beaten. They have a weakness. I just have to discover that weakness. And then the people who doesn't have it, they can, get hurt by normal means, obviously, but they, can keep it moving.
Interesting. So they kind of keep up with them and kind of
with technology and other stuff. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, interesting, man. And what time period does this story take place in?
This is the current time period, but it's just different. It's
kind of like an alternate reality.
Yeah, alternate reality. The world's the same. It's just our rules don't apply to it. Like the real world
rules, how do you mean exactly?
Like the real world rules doesn't apply to this world. Like where let's say maybe we have like one moon, they probably have 2 or 3, if that makes sense. Yeah, something like that. Like gravity is not the same. Stuff like that.
The physics are not quite the same.
Everything it looks the same, but it's different.
Okay, interesting. So where something in our world might react or work a certain way, it might not be quite the same in this world.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So in a sense, it's more of like an alternate timeline to ours.
I guess you could say that. I never really thought about
alternate
it like that.
Timeline, or well, to me, almost
alternate. I was gonna say alternate Earth, another Earth, or something.
Right. I was gonna say it almost.
Like alternate universe is a better term.
Or, something like that, where it's like the history may be the same, but the mechanics of the science of how the world works is a little different.
Right. Because it's set in the current timeline. Just
Right.
Things happen, but things are different.
But we have microchips that can grant these amazing abilities.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
Well, you're kind of getting there.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
Is there space travel in Micro Wars at all?
I didn't think about it. A friend of mine Smiley was talking to me about space travel and time travel. Me personally, as far as one of my favorite characters of all time, Flash, nice. I can't stand time traveling because it's never done right. I blame the Flash for this because it's his fault. Well, the CW Flash specifically, it's his fault. It is like I don't like time travel, but I will do it if I can find a way to write it in. But other than that, I wouldn't use it. Whatever happens, happens.
Very much.
I can kind of see that because time travel always leads to like paradoxes or loopholes.
Yeah, if you don't do it right, then it's kind of bad. And the crazy part, I actually love Endgame. They actually did it pretty cool. It was just the time travel was just they kind of overdid it with the time travel.
I get it. It has to be done exactly right. Like another one I think does it really well is Looper. I don't know if you've seen that movie Looper, but that one had a pretty interesting way of messing with the time travel aspect of things. But yeah, you're right. It's a bit tricky. You got to get it just right.
Yeah, it's like I don't think I'm a strong enough writer, me personally, to do something like that. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Like I'm kind of in a situation. If you mess up, you mess up. You gotta
and I think that's what kind of happened with a lot of the Terminators right now. Is that
hell yeah, dude?
They're just messing with the time loop too much, and it's like, dude, just
at all.
Stop.
Yeah,
stop where you are.
Yeah, those movies are so confusing at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was just weird, man. I just didn't understand. But I may do it if Smiley comes to me and say he wants to do it. Tell me the story, and we'll try to figure it out. But other than that, I wouldn't have any intentions on doing it.
Timeline, rather.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah, because it's like I said, I'm not a strong enough writer to pull that off.
Don't want to don't even want to deal with that.
Right, I'm struggling trying to make the main storyline. You want me to do time travel? Nah.
Yeah, we got Neos on the chest says, as much as I love the Flash, time traveling screwed up a lot of things. Hell, New 52 was the Flash's fault.
Yeah, you got to backtrack. You got to do all that. I forgot what happened.
Oh yeah, right. I mean, by the time you get to the end of it, right? I mean, you pretty much do forget what happens.
See, that's why time travel is. Look, they're gone. Let it go.
Right, and then also you don't have the permanence of stakes, and if you could just go back in time and fix things, to kind of that's kind of.
And that's something that I'm learning too. Stakes. I didn't know what they were per se. Like, what are stakes? And then it was like high risk, high reward, and I gotta figure that out with this character. If I'm gonna do stakes, how do I apply them within the story?
Yeah, no, that's very smart, man. Yeah, it's a definitely good way to really bring people into the story and really elevate it. You know, well, that's really interesting. Yeah, I definitely don't blame you for avoiding time travel. Tenet was super confusing. So
yeah, they do that a lot in anime too. And I was like, yo, why?
Do you have any ideas of or thoughts on like maybe her traveling the world?
Yes, the world will be a part of it, but not like right off the bat. Right now, I'll probably just do like another state or something, or for now, just to get her feet wet, just trying different things, testing her abilities. Like, how far can she go? Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. Will there? This is kind of something that I've been racking through my brain. Is there going to be anybody who has you could say, similar ability to Rashida?
I thought about it.
Kind of like the DC thing, right?
I kind of want people to be unique characters. Like, I want people to have their own countermeasures to people. Like, I thought about it, but I don't know if I want to go that route per se.
Yeah, I could see it. Like, you don't want to do like a reverse Rashida in a sense.
Yeah, I don't want to do. I want people to have the unique characters that they can fall in love with and give their own opinions. And like, the doppelganger thing is cool, but they're not really no different. They're just fighting themselves.
Yeah, I noticed DC does that a lot. Like, there's like almost all the DC characters have opposite versions of themselves.
Me personally, I think they're just running out of ideas, but it's cool.
That's funny.
Well, it has been almost 100 years for them working on DC, so I can kind of see it.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, with the second issue and the issues you're going to be coming out soon, are you starting to layer in the hints of maybe a larger plot, or
like the one of the panels that I showed, she picks up some chips, so that's gonna lead the first clue to the bad guy. So
chips?
Yeah.
Oh,
Those
the
are
microchips. Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was thinking
So
it's picked
those
up like
are
a bag of potato chips for some reason. I was like, whoa.
no, nah. So
How would
those
that lead to
That's
it?
what I was thinking. I'm like, oh man, now I gotta know. I gotta know the answer now.
so no,
No,
so
okay,
those
so
are I'm
microchips. Yeah, yeah.
throughout the issues, I'm gonna start leaving clues around. Like you got the
Okay.
first one, I'm gonna start leading up to him. Like I gotta figure out how I'm going to reveal him because he's a huge part of the story. And
The guy making the
leaving,
microchips.
yeah, he's making these counterfeits, and I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
who is this guy? Where are these people getting taken? You know, people are missing, things of that nature. So I'm trying to figure this
Damn.
out.
And Rashid is going to take it upon herself. I'm assuming to try and find out what's going on with this whole situation.
Exactly. Right.
Mhm.
And he knows a part about her past and all the other stuff too.
Ooh.
But she won't find that out until she like actually face him.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome, man. That's really interesting. And is there anything you want to tease? Anything you want to kind of throw out there that you got coming up? Anything you want to, without spoiling anything? Any just teasers you can give us?
Tease. Naomi's a tease.
Nah,
Naomi
really?
is
No
a
way.
tease, man, because you don't know what she's capable of. Man. You don't know if she has powers or not.
True.
Even though I said, even though I said no, but it's a possibility she can get her own. You never know.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if you ever watched that show Ben 10 back in the day, but it almost reminds me how like in the first series, the grandpa character seems so incompetent, and then you really go to the next one, you're like, oh shit, he's like a secret agent practically.
Exactly. So it's like she's doing her own thing. Like,
yeah, dude, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good idea, man. I love that too because it really kind of like you said makes you wonder like, oh man, what's going on here? What's her deal?
right. Like, what else can she do? Like, what you been hiding from me all this time? You know?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's cool, man. I'm really happy to hear that you guys are back on track, getting things going, and really interesting to hear about your new artist as well. Sounds like you guys are working really well together.
Yeah, we are. Like, I'm looking forward to continuing more books with them now that we got a plan and a solid production thing going on. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Right, and I know you mentioned you don't necessarily have a production date set in stone yet right now for when issues will be coming out. Do you have any kind of vague ideas of is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year? Do you have any thoughts on that yet, or still kind of trying to nail that down?
This year, I would like to put sometime late this year. I would like to at least put something out late this year.
Nice. Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Or at least tease something.
Yeah, right. Maybe a few pages here and there.
Yeah, and I was kind of curious. Would you guys like to see single in-depth issues of characters, or like put them in the overall story?
You mean like spin-offs?
Nah,
not a spin-off exactly, but
it's like what you call it, like their own volume. Yeah, one shot.
Like a one shots. Okay.
Those would be dope.
I think it depends on the story for me, because if you can blend it in with the story, like a little flashback or like a issue that's basically a flashback in a sense, that can work. But at the same time, one shots are no problem as well, because it's like something that really gets you with the character in a sense, especially if you plan on like having it super long. But I think stories like Naruto, they did it basically, if it was an older character, their origin story is a flashback in a sense. And it would spend like maybe a few issues with them. That was pretty cool. Whereas like mostly comics, I would say, you see it kind of more as a one shot.
Got you. Okay, so I'm just taking notes here. I'm trying to apply certain things. Like I plan on doing that one shot a couple times. Like I think Rashida deserves it. She deserves a one shot, even though I'm telling her whole overall story, just how she got her powers, blah blah blah. You know how to use them, the training montages, all that jazz. That way they'll know going through the rest of the story how she got to this point. Same thing with Naomi. I can tell her story throughout, but it's like she has her own little past history. Like, how did she get to this point?
I feel like Naomi and Guy would both be great characters to see one shots on.
Yeah, like I really want Guy too because I don't know his history. Like I really want to know what's going on behind this dude. Like even though I have like the end result.
You and oh shit
Smiley.
Yeah, I was playing on his name earlier for a second, but yeah, you and Smiley could totally team up and do like a one shot. I bet.
Because cool. I'll talk to him about that, and it's like, all right, I got the end result, but do he has anything else? Like, how
a little bit more? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like he's such a mystery.
That could be a good way to do it, right?
Like he really be teasing me with that. Like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, I already got the idea in my head. Like, the title of it's like, who's that guy? And it's like we're trying to figure out his backstory, like with him on the cover and whatnot. But I plan on using Guy for personal purposes. Like I'm gonna give him kind of sort of like a second life, if that makes sense. Kind of sort of.
No, it makes a lot of sense, man. Yeah, I think
yeah. Like have him do some off the wall stuff, like in the name of money. He'll just do
hey, that's bad, man. That's bad for you. And it looks like
in a sense, that's Kakuzo, or I think that's how you say it.
Kakuzu, yeah. In the name of money, he's gonna do whatever for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I got some interesting stories I can pull off. I have this one story I want to try with him and Rashida. I think that'll be cool. I just don't know how I'm gonna do it with the whole like a parent teacher conference or something. Like she is 16, so it's like she's dealing with some stuff. Like maybe she'll pay him or something like that to be a false parent. I don't know. I have to figure this out. Like if I do that, I have to reveal identities.
But hey, dude, looks like there's some hunger for it. He says one shot story for specific characters. Sure, why not? And he even goes as far as says, hell, I'll buy guy one shot right now.
Okay, definitely. We can definitely put that in the works because I've been like talking to Smiley about that for the longest. Like,
nice.
Who is he and what can like? I know what the end result is gonna be, but how we're gonna fill this out?
Want to see where he's coming from? Get that whole story.
Like how he got there. Like what makes him so great? What's his mystery, man? Did he have a family? Yeah. Did he have powers at one point in time? Like what is this? Like why is he the way he is? Like
yeah.
And how did he get those Tims, man? I need to know.
And why is he so damn strong?
like seriously, he still haven't told me why he's so strong. Like, I think he just, I don't know. He won't tell me.
Hey, maybe maybe he'll finally tell you once you guys get to do that one shot. But all right, finally revealing the secret origin story to you. He pulls it out of the vault. He unlocks the safe or whatever. Pulls out the secret document. Here it is, man. The origin story.
Yeah,
but that would be honest. That would be cool, dude.
Yeah. I had an idea for a character, I've been meaning to talk to him about it, but I figure you guys can help me out. How interesting would it be if a character who's a friend of Rashida, and that person's all about comic books or movie references and stuff like that. Like every time they go on an adventure or something, they points out something from a movie or a comic book.
Oh, that'd be fun, yeah.
Like this is happening in issue 22, blah 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 blah. And Rashida's like, what? It's like just used to something like that.
Give her a comic book friend, yeah.
It's right here. It's in the book. Like this not gonna work. Yes, it is. It's right here in issue 22.
That'd be a nice nod for us comic book readers and for pop culture enthusiasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I can pull that off. I just haven't figured out how I'm gonna do it. I think that'll work.
Mm-hmm. Nice, man. Well, I wanted to ask you a couple fun questions here. One is if you could spend spend the day hanging out with Rashida, where would you guys go?
Man, we'll go to a theme park.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be cool. Because I'm afraid of roller coasters. I've never been on one, so
really,
I've never been on a roller coaster.
Damn.
So it's like I think that'll just.
She'd help you get over that. She'd be like, "No,
get over that." All right, I think that would be cool. Hanging out at an arcade. I might actually turn that into an
tournament.
Actually.
Yeah, got to do a game tournament, right?
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Hanging out at an arcade,
a classic arcade. At all, or is she much of a
gamer? Yeah. She is like a retro gamer per se. She's like finding all this old school stuff. Kind of like my personality. Like I play a lot of old games too, so I probably give her that, and she's always playing them. So I think that'll be cool. We'll probably go out to like a club or something. Like try to tease that out. And
That'll be
so
fun.
have some. Yeah, I think that'll be cool.
Nice, man. Well, that's awesome. And the other question I wanted to ask you was, if you what do you do when you finish hard work, working on a comic script or hard day, push your comic? What do you like to do? Kind of hang out and relax at the end of the day and just chill.
I end up most of the time. I end up watching anime, or I'll just play some games. Like I've been switching between Sword and Shield. Not Sword and Shield, but Shield Hero. Sorry, Shield Hero, Parasite, Haku. I've been watching a different anime here and there.
Nice, man.
And I've been playing
myself.
Yeah, been playing some games. Like I'm really looking forward to Bleach to come out, and it's taking forever.
You mean the game or the final season?
Oh, both. that blood arc is taking too long.
Yeah, really them. Hella funny. Oh man.
Yes.
I like to. There's some. Neil has a couple more comics here. He says, "Rashida is a cultural lady." Yeah.
Yeah, cultural. I was actually thinking about that. How do you guys feel about? I think it's called Mechs. Mechazoid. Mechs.
Yeah,
I was watching some. Like
you mean like Gundams and stuff like that?
Whatever it's called, machines. Freaking Zoids, Power Rangers Zoids, those things.
Kind of like a Pacific Rim.
Yeah, that.
Evangelion. I mean, they're great if they can be if it fits with the story. I could see it. One that everybody always forgets about is Zoids. I used to watch that as a kid.
Yeah, I used to watch
Loved
that too.
Zoids.
I kind of thought they're all in the same category as Power Rangers because that was like my first exposure to it, and I was like, "Yo, just put a giant Megazord battle in there or something." I don't know.
Dude, that'd be wild, dude.
Like, I think that'd be wild. Like, I think that'd be cool. Like having a
mega. At least 5 or 6, man. Damn. Think she's ready for a Megazord?
I don't know.
Guess we'll find out.
I don't know. Like, can she take that on? Like, does she have to get one of her own?
Like, dude, that's funny.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for a while. Like, how far can I go with this world?
Yeah,
like,
really. I mean, yeah, you like, really could push it as far as you want it. Sky's the limit.
Like, what if somebody had the power to create their own Megazord, with the microchip or something like that? I think that would be cool.
Yeah, like they have like a mech that can harness the ability. So it's not just a mech, but also harnesses some sort of chip ability.
Yeah. So I think that'd be cool. Like his chip is like a giant mech, and she has to fight that.
Oh wow, that would be wild, dude. That could be a really interesting arc in the series. I bet.
Yeah, like I think that'd be cool. I just don't know how to write it in. Like. Yeah, like I have to figure that out.
Yeah, like you said, you have so many ideas for the story, but how do you make it all work together in the right way?
Like it's just random. Like, what is that? Like, just terrorizing the city in this.
Hey man, you can do One Punch Man thing and just be like, oh yeah, that's just another monster that's popping up. Oh yeah,
it's just a normal day.
Yeah, this
happens on a regular.
Yeah, really. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. It really sounds like you're making a lot of progress with the story and the characters.
Oh yeah, it's a fun story, man. I'm just having fun with it. That's really it. It's like a hobby for me. I just, on my spare time, I just make something and go from there.
That's pretty awesome, man. I definitely respect that, and I also respect your just tenacity to get it out there and just because, like you said, you just want people to get that story, and that's what's most important.
It's like, people, we got Marvel, we have, we have Disney, DC, all these other guys that just making stuff, but they don't really necessarily give the people what they're asking for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, really. No, that's a good point, man. They, for whatever reason, like they have all these resources, they have all these platforms, they have the ability to do so, but then, like you said, they kind of don't really necessarily listen when they have
saying that's how I took it upon myself to just make my own. Like I want to get to the point where I finish Micro Wars, and I can wake up and watch Saturday morning cartoons, and Micro Wars is on.
Oh man, that's the dream right there, man. That's the dream.
That's cool.
Yeah, dude, really. Hey, man, you gotta go make it happen.
Yeah, I'm on my way. Like the first step is to get the comic books done.
Hell yeah. No,
I think that's the only way to do it. I believe you gotta have like content out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it really is. People, want to say like, how do I get there? How do I do this? Honestly, you just gotta start creating whatever you're wanting to create. You gotta start creating it, whether it's music, whether it's comics, whether it's a short film.
Yeah, because people are gonna support regardless. You may not get all the people you want, but people are gonna support. And I completely support the indie comics, things. I support my own. I just bought some the other day. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like I bought like two elements called The Elements. That's the first book, and the other one was Ace Blade was the other. So I'm reading those now. Just to show support and love, man. Like you gotta support.
Exactly, man. And then I was listening to a podcast the other day or a webinar, and they were talking about like when you back an indie book, you kind of get to see what it's like for when people back your book. It's a good experience.
I want to get to the point where indie comics can start debating their characters with other characters. Like I listen to these debates, man. That was pretty cool. Like these Naruto debates and anime debates.
Yeah.
Like I want a Rashida debate against someone else.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Have the fans do it. Like I want to see how deep their love is for this character.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's
Rashida versus Citrus Man.
Hey man, there's a crossover waiting to happen. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks again, man. I think we're getting close to the end of our time here, but we definitely appreciate you coming on and talking with us. Is there anything out there you want to tell people out there who are thinking about checking out all your work and thinking about picking up the newest issue?
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in getting the issue, you can check my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'll put the link out. It's to my Square store. There's a promotion going on right now. You buy one, the first issue, get the second one half off. Or you can buy them individually if you already have the first one or second one. And I'll put that in the chat, or I can just put it on Twitter so you all can get to it. I also want to say thank you for your support. It's very useful and helpful. So thank you all.
Yes, and for my part, I would just say please go check it out. I've had the chance to read the first issue and some of the second issue, and it is just a really fun comic. And honestly, Squeezy has some really, really interesting concepts that he's playing here, and I do feel like it's something refreshing, especially for the sci-fi genre. So I honestly,
that's what it is. It's sci-fi.
Yeah. I would, even though it's a superhero genre, I actually feel like it has the trappings of a sci-fi in it too, which makes it even more.
Okay. I didn't know. I was just like creating something, so I like, all right,
cool. Well, that's just my take on it because I think the microchips really brings in that sci-fi aspect to it.
Well, that's the whole point of the Micro Wars title. Yeah. I have to do something with technology.
Yeah, I love that, dude. Because I love future, I love technology and stuff, and so to see you combining that with a superhero story is something that I've not really seen, and it just really fascinates me.
Yeah, it's like I had to ask myself when I created it, like, what would you do with powers? So hence my powers is teleportation. So I'm going all out with that with Rashida. But like if I had powers, what would I do with them? I'm going to the grocery store, wake up, teleport, and I'm just doing normal stuff with it or save somebody. I don't know, just trying something out.
Well, that's the other thing that's so interesting about your concept too is that it's not just that these microchips are creating the powers, but that people can actually have these customized, powers, these almost designer powers, you might call them.
Right, they're custom. Like I said, if you once you create them, they're permanent, and it's like you have to deal with that. Like say, I want to be slime. Now you're slime. Like what are you gonna do with that?
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, dude.
It's like I don't know what you're supposed to do. Like you this whack power, so now you're whack. I don't know what to tell you.
And I can imagine, let's say you gave yourself some crazy power. Maybe that's how you create a villain, dude.
It'll probably just go to show that it'll probably, if something like that were to ever happen, or even in that universe, just don't be drunk or tired or sick, or just out of the wrong part of your mind to get those.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull as many consequences. I'm gonna try to do a lot of stuff with the act of creating powers, because I know what I'll do with powers. What would the people do with powers?
Oh, there's a lot of things people would probably do with powers. I've had that thought for a long time.
So it's like I want to play on that and ask people like, hey, that's why I made it my surveys I got going on with the books that I ship out. Like, if you have powers, what would they be? What would you do with them? Would you want to be a villain, hero, or vigilante? And it's surprising, a lot of people want to be a vigilante. Surprisingly, I was like,
now, where is the you mentioned that the there's a sale going on right now for the 2 comics. What is the website that they're available on again? Oh, it looks like we may have lost.
repeat that one more time.
Oh, there you are. I think we had a blip with the microchip there. I think my microchip went out there for a moment and cut the feed. So sorry. So I was saying, you mentioned that the 2 books are on sale right now. What is the website that you mentioned they were available for?
It's on Square. Square.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, like I said, you can go to my page and I'll put the link up. Well, it should be already there, but I'll put it up again, and you guys can click that link. It'll take you directly to the site, and you can buy them.
Excellent. So yeah, you'll basically just go ahead and head to that Twitter link then that's up there on the screen. If you go check that out, then you should be able to find the link to be able to pick those books up as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And is there anything else you wanted to tease us? Any final parting words you can leave us with today about Rashida and her adventures?
There's more to come. Like, there's really more to come with her school life, her powers, just a everyday situation. So we look forward to that. Like, I want to know how she's going to handle boys and everything else. So I'm kind of curious. So how does she deal with like how does she deal with bullies, and she has superpowers, stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious.
No, that's awesome, man. I for one am excited to see where that story goes and to kind of see how she's able to navigate all the different stuff she's got coming at her.
Oh yeah, definitely. Same here.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting, a little real world, little fantasy, and see where it goes.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you again for joining us. I really appreciate it. And please, everyone, if you're watching on the replay or on live, go check out the book. As I said, the link's in the chat. It's also on the screen there was just a moment ago. So check out the Twitter, go find the books through that link there and see all the other stuff that you got going on. And who knows? Well, maybe we'll see Rashida coming over, more Rashida soon, maybe in a crossover. Who knows what we'll see next? Sky's the limit, as we said, man. So let's see what you do with it, man. I'm excited for one.
Yeah, me too.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you guys watching, and please go check it out and back that book because it really is something special. So we'll see you guys on the next further episode. And thank you again, Squeezy, for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.